President. My question is to the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Minister Wong. Minister, your government was one of the first in the world to support Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu's war in the Middle East. Now the awful consequences are becoming real for Australians. I have a simple question for you. Do you still support this war?
Thank you, Senator Shoebridge. Minister Wong.
Thank you, President. One of the things that I think it might be useful to remind Senator Shoebridge and the Greens political party of is the actions of the Iranian regime, including the brutal massacring of its own people. The actions of the Iranian regime, including directing attacks on Australians here on Australian soil. The actions of the Iranian regime in sponsoring its proxies, including Hamas and Hezbollah. And the actions of the Iranian regime in sponsoring terrorism around the world. So what we made very clear is the basis of our support for actions which were designed to prevent Iran continuing to be a threat to peace and security internationally. Now, I appreciate that you don't agree with that, Senator, but that is the basis of our position. We also made it very clear that we were not proposing to join in engaging in strikes on Iran. I know that's a fact that the Greens political party seek to gloss over. That we. How is this not relevant?
Please resume your seat. Senator Shoebridge.
My point of order.
Yep.
I have a point of order.
Yes.
Thank you, President. My point of order is direct relevance. My question was simple, and the minister refuses to address it. Do you still support the war?
Senator Shoebridge, there's
direct relevance.
Senator Shoebridge, the minister is being relevant to your question. I'll invite the minister to continue.
What we know is that you seek to generate. No, your outrage machine, actually. What you want is an outrage machine to campaign with. And it doesn't suit you to talk about the thousands of people the regime has killed.
Order.
It doesn't suit you to confirm that Australia has said we are only engaging in defensive action. It doesn't suit you to remember that there are tens of thousands of Australians that we are defending as a consequence of the deployment of ADF personnel in the Middle East. You just want to yell at me because these are inconvenient
could you resume your
facts.
seat, please? Minister Wong. Senator Green.
Interjections are disorder. I cannot hear what the minister is saying.
I have asked for order. I called you Senator Shoebridge and I called you Senator Ormond-Payne. I expect there to be silence. Minister, did you wish to continue?
You see, Senator Shoebridge doesn't like the
now
answers.
We're out of time. Sorry, Minister. Senator Shoebridge, first supplementary.
Yeah, thanks, President. Minister, as part of this war, the Israeli government have said they want to turn southern Lebanon into another Gaza. There are hundreds of thousands of Lebanese Australians who are watching their loved ones be displaced and their country destroyed. Will you oppose this latest Israeli invasion of Lebanon?
Thank you, Senator Shoebridge. Minister Wong.
If I can just finish my previous answer. No, well, I am actually. It's not up to you. It's not up to you, Senator Shoebridge. I know you'd like to tell everyone what to do in this place.
Minister Wong. Senator Shoebridge.
Well, I have a point of order, which is the minister is required to be relevant to the question she's been asked. She can't choose her own adventure. The relevance is to the
Senator
question the minister has just been asked.
To be fair, the interjections started the minute the minister stood. She has not begun to address the question, so I will invite Minister Wong to continue.
I will get to that if I could finish my answer without interruption. I give you a commitment I will get to the response on that.
Order, Senator Ormond-Payne. Minister Wong, please resume your seat. Senator Ormond-Payne, I indicated to you yesterday that I will name you. I've had to call you and call you and call you. You are being absolutely disrespectful to me and this chamber, and I will name you if you won't be quiet. Minister Wong, please continue.
The point I was making is Senator Shoebridge and the Greens political party don't like the answer because the facts don't suit the Greens' outrage machine. They don't suit your outrage machine. The fact that they happen to be the truth is an inconvenient fact for you. In relation to Lebanon, I have been very clear that we are gravely concerned about the expansion of the conflict into Lebanon. We are deeply concerned about the loss of life, the displacement of more than 1 million citizens, including over 200,000 children. We have announced a further $5 million in humanitarian assistance to support civilians in Lebanon, and we have said a major Israeli ground offensive will only exacerbate the worsening. I'm answering your question.
Thank you, Minister. The time for answering has expired. Senator Shoebridge. Senator Shoebridge. I just need there to be silence. Senator Shoebridge.
Minister, every day this war and chaos continue. The lives of people here in Australia, across the world, get worse. Why is Australia not urgently joining with other middle powers to help end this illegal war by refusing to support any part of US war fighting, withdraw support from this illegal war from the US and Israel?
Thank you, Senator Shoebridge. Minister Wong.
Senator, what I was going to say, which you interrupted and was a direct response to your question, was a major Israeli ground offensive into Lebanon will only exacerbate the worsening humanitarian situation in the country. I've said that on multiple occasions, and that is Australia's position.
Thank you, Minister. Senator De Liga. The minister's finished her response.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy President. I rise to take note of what were described in Hansard as answers from the Foreign Minister. What an extraordinary performance from the government's Foreign Minister today. Senator Wong coming in here and refusing to answer the most basic questions. The first question is, given the appalling impacts we're seeing on the ground in the Middle East, but now the repercussions throughout our economy, people fearful of going to the fuel bowser, people fearful about what's happening to their jobs, why does Labor still continue to support this war? And we couldn't get a coherent answer from the Foreign Minister. Something about Iran being bad, ignoring the illegality of the war, ignoring the reckless expansion of Donald Trump, ignoring the fact that this war is costing people's jobs and livelihoods, and we get this endless patter because they absolutely refuse to stand up for Australia's national interests, to stand up for Donald Trump and to say we do not support this war. Labor's utterly gutless approach to this is surrendering our national interests, supporting a war that is destroying jobs, destroying the economy, throwing the world into chaos. You haven't even got the courage to articulate why. The second answer from Senator Wong was an extraordinary performance, asking why this government hasn't come out and opposed Israel's invasion of Lebanon, Israel's threats to turn the southern part of Lebanon into another Gaza. And we get this performance from Senator Wong, where she comes out and says, very concerned about displacement, very concerned about people losing their home, as though it was happening by some kind of natural disaster, as though it was an unnamed flood. I'll tell you why it's happening, because of Israel's illegal war and the complete inability of Senator Wong to even say Israel, to even point out that its government is driving this appalling conflict in Lebanon, driving people from their homes, killing more than 1,000 Lebanese, can't even say the word Israel because they know that will offend Donald Trump and they don't dare not do that. And then the last, when we ask why on earth, with all of the chaos that's been produced from this war, the dreadful chaos running through the Australian economy, the people feeling anxious about their jobs, people feeling anxious about the world, the killing that's happening in the Middle East, why won't the Australian government join with other middle powers around the world and actually stop supporting the war? Say there will be no support for US global war making. Bases here can't be used. Bases in Spain can't be used. Bases in the UK can't be used. Why not call together middle powers to speak for peace? Because if you want to open the Strait of Hormuz, the only way is peace. Why won't the government join with middle powers? And do you know what? The Labor's Foreign Minister Wong wouldn't even address the question. And do you know why? Because they're utterly gutless. They are afraid of Donald Trump. They're afraid of standing up to Trump and Netanyahu's illegal war, and they don't even have the courage to articulate why. It's an extraordinary betrayal of Australia's national interest. And then the rest of this question time. It was like we're living in some alternate reality, some complete fantasy. This government and the other war parties, One Nation and their friends in the coalition, tell us we're going to war in the Middle East to stop an aggressive expansionist power in the Middle East from having access to illegal nuclear weapons programs. Now, I know it's about as popular as a fart in the elevator, but let's be clear. Israel, which is leading this war with Donald Trump, is an aggressive expansionist power in the Middle East with hundreds of illegal nuclear weapons, which they allow no international inspection of. That's the truth, and why nobody in this chamber can speak that basic truth about this war, the utter hypocrisy at the very centre of it. And now, apparently, the new story is we're all going to go to war and support the US war against Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. How on earth did the Strait of Hormuz get shut in the first place? It got shut because of the illegal war from Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu that the Labor government was the first government in the world to support. And now we're going to go to war, continue to support the US war, to open up the Strait of Hormuz that was only shut because of this illegal war in the first place. You couldn't make this stuff up. And finally, we get this run from One Nation that they're deeply concerned about fuel security. The climate deniers who have refused ever to support renewable energy, which would give us energy security right now. The same party whose leader went over and had a party with Donald Trump just before he started this illegal war, now complain about their mate's war. And they probably got flown there in Gina Rinehart's executive jet. That's who One Nation is, a bunch of bloody hypocrites.